openings can feel overwhelming. Most resources are way too complicated for what players under 1500 actually need. That's why I created this simple, practical opening guide for black against 1 e4 and 1 d4, where I'll show you how to develop your pieces step by step so you reach positions that actually make sense for you. You'll learn how to face common openings like the Italian, the Spanish, the Queen's Gambit and more, plus how to handle all these tricky traps where your opponent tries to checkmate you right away. By the end of the video, you will have a clear guide you can use in your games without needing to memorize hundreds of moves. Let's go! Let's get started with the most common first move for white, e4, fighting for the center. And we respond with the move e5, also putting a pawn in a central square. Now, let's see the first trappy opening that we must know. Queen h5. You will see this opening so much at beginner level. The idea is that the queen is attacking this pawn on e5, which is unprotected, and is looking at f7, which is right now protected just by the king. If black goes crazy, plays the bomb cloud, then queen here is already a checkmate. Please, let's not do that, and let's protect this pawn. This pawn could be protected many times by different pieces, by the pawn, by the knight, by the queen, but the best way to do so is to go with the knight here, because the pawn would block the bishop from going out. The queen here would block this bishop from going out. Instead, the knight here is a great development move, bringing out a piece plus solving the problem. Now you will see this move so much. What is the threat? The scholar's mate. The bishop is doubling up on this pawn, attack now twice, protected just once. So we gotta protect it a second time. There are many ways. The queen could come here, the queen could come there, the knight could come here. We don't want to go out with the knight on the side of the board. We want to go towards the center. We don't want to move the queen too early, and we don't want to block other pieces from going out. The queen here is blocking the bishop, the queen there is blocking the knight. So the best move here is to play the move g6. We are attacking the queen has to move, and this move has been also kind of useful, because our bishop can now be developed in a new way. This is called fianchetto. Please pronounce it in the right way, the Italian way. Fianchetto. So the threat here is again quite big. They want to checkmate us, and we cannot let it happen. Again, there are so many ways to defend. As we saw, the queen could come out, but the best move is one that defends plus does something very useful for us, and is bringing the knight out. This knight is protected by the queen, so cannot be taken, and this position is already, if you see, a little bit better for for black, because we didn't waste time bringing out the queen too early. And that's a very good advice. Don't bring your queen out too early, because the queen is going to be attacked by enemy pieces. For example, we saw the attack of the pawn over the queen. The queen has to move one more time. And the queen in future can be attacked by another black piece, and is this knight. Here, attacking the queen and attacking this pawn. You don't need to rush to play this move. You can also simply develop castle. But this is a tactic you want to look for. That's why the very typical move here is to go with the knight here. The knight is controlling that square, and then white is completing the development. Last trap you need to know in this opening is if they play queen b3, because here you can punish them really brutally. The queen and the bishop are attacking one more time this pawn, and we cannot defend it. Well, there is just one move, that is queen e7. Defending the pawn. But we have an amazing counterattack, and is the move knight d4. We are attacking the queen, and if the bishop is going to take here with check in between move intermezzo, we simply slide the king up. And now they have a big problem, because they have the queen under attack and the bishop under attack of the king. So the queen has to move to a square where the bishop is still protected, and this is the only one. The queen cannot go here because there is the knight, and the queen cannot go there because there is the pawn. And now b5. the pawn is attacking the queen cannot stay any longer on this diagonal, the queen has to leave, free cheese macaroni, black is already almost winning in this position. Second trappy opening, white goes out with the knight attacking the pawn. We bring our knight out, protecting the pawn. Bishop out, we are in the Italian game, and black has here pretty much two options, knight out or bishop out. I recommend you to go out with the knight. And the reason is that after bishop out, there are many gambits that you must know, especially my favorite one, the evens gambit, which can be very, very dangerous unless you are extremely well prepared. So we will avoid all this and go with the knight out. And here there is one trappy openings you must know, and is the fried lever. That's how it's called. The knight and the bishop are attacking this point. And here you gotta know two moves, and then you are more or less fine. The first move to defend this pawn is d5. What we are doing is blocking the bishop. Now, they will 95% of the time take with this pawn. If they take with the bishop, you don't have to worry about. You see the evaluation bar, you can take back here. After pawn takes, you can decide to go for a simple move, taking back the pawn, or to take back this knight. And the idea is that you take this knight, they take this pawn, and now you have a juicy candy on g2. This position is very bad for black. For white, sorry. So they take with the pawn here, and now the second move you gotta remember. We don't take back. If you take back, you are almost lost. Because here white can sacrifice the knight. This move is brilliant, attacking the queen, attacking the rook. And if you take back, the queen is coming to give a check. And this check is setting up also a second threat, because the queen is attacking the knight. That is now attacked 2 times and protected just once. Here, black can fight on, going with the king towards the middle, but this position is still really bad for white, because white is going to castle, play the move d4, open up the e-file, the king is gonna be in big danger. So don't go for this. Instead, in this position, after the pawn is taking, you gotta move this knight away. You don't take back just yet, and you play the move knight a5. This move is pretty genius. The knight is attacking the bishop, so the bishop has to move again. And if the bishop moves, for example, here, you can just take it out and then win this pawn. Easy. The best move for white here is to move this bishop by winning a tempo. Bishop check. Why winning a tempo? Because now we have to defend the check, and so with black we cannot recapture the pawn. We are currently a pawn down, and we want to win that pawn back, one way or another. So here there are pretty much 2 moves. c6 is a gambit. You give away the pawn. Bishop e7 is a simple move that wants to take back the pawn, and I think this is the simplest one. So we will go for this one. I play this move and I love it really a lot, and I will show you why. So there are 2 moves that you will see in this position, and the first one is bishop takes. The most simple move, trading off the bishop, but this is a mistake actually. Because here you're going to take back with the queen, and there is no way to defend this pawn. That pawn is lost because it's attacked twice, and the only way to protect it once would be to protect it with a pawn, because that way we cannot take it with a piece of higher value, no? But the move c4 doesn't work because this pawn is hanging thanks to the other knight. If not, of course, we wouldn't be able to take the pawn. Okay, so in this position, we are going to take back the pawn. Let's say the castle, we take back the pawn. And I love this position because we are going to castle long. And then we are going to use a very common plan. When the king are castled on opposite side, you gotta attack the king on the other side of the board. So your goal is to attack this king, and ideally you want to do by grabbing some space with the pawns. Push the pawns, try to trade them for the pawns of your opponent king, open up files, and checkmate the king. That's a lovely plan. Okay, so here, last move that you need to know is what if they play queen e2? So the queen is protecting the bishop. Instead of taking, they are protecting the bishop. And the queen is also counterattacking this pawn. Now there is a line where you sacrifice up to 3 pawns and you get in a completely winning position. And it's the only thing that you want to try to understand. So the best move for black here is to play simply the move bishop e7. What is the idea? We are ready to castle, and we don't have to worry about this pawn, because if they take, we take a free bishop. So we are happy about that. What if they say like, okay, let's trade first here, and after queen takes, free cheese macaroni? Well, that pawn is not really good to be taken, and you see the bar. Because now we are down 2 pawns, but we can immediately take back another one. So now we are just down 1 pawn. And there is a big problem for white. We are threatening this fork. The queen is in real bad shape. And you might say like, hey, there is another pawn hanging. And also the rook behind is hanging. But this move is another mistake. Now we are 2 pawns down, and we are going to leave another one. We're going to castle long. By castling wrong, we are defending this rook. And you might say like, Alessia? Evaluation bar, what is happening here? This knight is coming here with a fork? But that's another blunder. Because here, black has a chef kiss move. Bishop f6. The bishop is attacking the queen. The queen has to move, and this knight is gonna be hanging. There is nobody defending the knight. And if the knight is not taking, this position is still very bad for white, because if they play a normal move, the rook is coming on g8, attacking the queen and attacking the knight. White is losing massive amount of material. So here, important to remember, you can let this pawn go, you can let this other pawn go, and just develop as quickly as possible. Black has a fire position. When it comes to study openings or improving your chess in general, consistency is everything. Just a little bit every day adds up quickly, and that's where real progress happens. That same approach is also used by Brilliant, the sponsor of today's video. Brilliant helps you build strong learning habits by making it easy to stay consistent with short and interactive lessons in subjects like math, science, programming, data analysis, and AI. This month I've been exploring their Predicting with Probability course, and I love that it helps you put some fear into perspective. What's the actual probability that lightning might hit my next flight? Should I be worrying about it? Which company is the most likely to cancel my next flight? Which one should I fly with? To learn for free on Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/Alessia Santeramo, scan the QR code here on screen, or click on the link in the description. Brilliant also gives you guys 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant. If you're trying to be more consistent, whether in chess or anything else, Brilliant is a great place to start. Thank you guys, Brilliant guys, for sponsoring this video, and let's now move on with our Trappy opening number 3. Last Trappy openings before moving on with the 4 strongest openings for white. Knight out, we bring out the knight. This is the Vienna game, and white has left the way free for this pawn to be pushed here. That's why white is not going out with the knight. What's the idea? These 2 pawns are looking at each other. White could take or black could take. We cannot take here. Not because white is going to first attack this knight. This knight cannot move here or there because the knight is taking. The knight cannot move here or there because the queen is taking. So the knight has to go back home in shame. And now white is gonna play first knight out. Why? Because the knight needs to stop the queen from getting out. And then the move d4, taking full control over the center, and last but not least, taking back the pawn with the bishop. So in this position, the move you have to remember, and make sure to subscribe to beat all the Gotham Chess subscribers that always play this opening, is the move d5. Once you remember this move, you are doing really good. Wait a second, this pawn is hanging. But with the move d5, we have been counterattacking the pawn on e4. Now this pawn is attacked once and twice. And the main move here is white accepting the pawn, and now we take here with the knight. And this position is great for black. If they take here, this pawn structure is kind of funny, but this diagonal is really very weak for them. And what you can just do is bring out all your pieces. You have a way to bring out your pieces in very normal squares, so just develop. The main move here is queen f3, because this move is a little bit challenging. The queen and the knight are attacking our knight twice, protected just once. So here we gotta take here. And now that they can take with one pawn or with another, no matter what, you gotta develop your pieces in a simple way. This bishop is gonna go here, protecting this pawn that is now attacked by the queen. Vulnerable point. So bishop here, bishop there, c5 to fight more for the center, knight here, and then you can go either for short or for long castle, depending on the situation, depending where the king is safer. More than this, you don't need to know. Remember the move d5. In this position, that's how you solve the problem. It's finally time for a good opening for white, the Italian game. And now our knight is attacking this pawn, so white has pretty much two moves here. One is good and one is bad. And the most natural way to defend this pawn with the knight is a mistake. Because here you see the evaluation became a little bit better for black. Here we have a brilliant knight sacrifice. The knight is snapping this pawn. And the idea is pretty simple. If the knight is taking back, we play the move d5, forking the knight and the bishop. We are winning back material. And this position is really fun to play on. It's very simple to complete the development. The bishop has a free way to go out. This other bishop has a free way to go out. You're gonna castle your king. Black is completely fine here. One tricky move you gotta know is that white might want to sacrifice the bishop here. This move is a mistake, but you gotta know a little bit here. Because after king here, the idea is that now material is equal, and after the move d5, there is no fork, right? So white can simply save this knight, material is equal, black king is a little bit weak. But the price to pay for this weak king is too big, because black has these strong pawns in the center that are controlling two main important squares, all those squares. The knights are not able to jump forward, and this position is better already for black. What you need to know is a plan of bringing your king to safety. And a typical way is to bring this bishop out, slide the rook on the f file, semi-open file, and then hide the king back to g8. Once you know this plan, you're gonna do really well. So in this position, the best move for white is to play the move d3, protecting this pawn with a pawn. And now we are in the Italian game, gioco piano, and what you need to do is bring out all your pieces. And you have a simple way to bring this bishop out here. And remember to first bring the bishop out and then push the d pawn. So you can then bring the other bishop out. There is just one trick that I want you to know here. After castle, let's say they play the move knight c3. There is a sneaky plan for white here, and is to bring the bishop here. And then to come with the knight on d5. This is very dangerous. If this happens, let's say in this position, white is doing really, really fine. Because this knight is pinned, because the queen behind is attacked by the bishop. This is very dangerous. That's why in this position, I recommend you to play the move h6. And you have nothing to worry anymore. You stop this plan, and then you will move on with the move d6, bishop out, or if the bishop cannot go here, the second best square for the bishop is usually on e6, offering a trade with the other bishop. White could do the exact same. And there are two ways to move on for black. One way is to trade this bishop, one way is to move the bishop backwards. Both ways have plus and cons. If you take here, white is gonna have 2 double pawns, but the price to pay is that they have very good control over the center and then open, semi-open f-file. That's why what I usually play in this type of position is just retreat the bishop back, and I'm not worrying about this trade because again, even if I have 2 double pawns, I have a semi-open file for my rook, and these pawns are actually very solid. It's very hard for white to attack them. Second strong opening for white is the Spanish or Ruy Lopez, and make sure to like this video if you're enjoying this guide. What is the idea of this opening? White is attacking the knight that is protecting our pawn, but we have nothing to worry about. The main move in this position for black is actually to provoke the bishop, saying like, go ahead, take the knight. And now you have to take back with this pawn and try to understand the reason, not to memorize. If you understand, you will remember. If you memorize, tomorrow, it's gone. After pawn takes, if they take this pawn, we have a very strong double attack, thanks to the fact that this pawn is not on the way of the queen. So the queen comes here on d4, attacking the knight and attacking the pawn. Black is gonna win back the pawn. Black is a great position. That's why here, the main move is to go back with the bishop, keeping the pressure on the knight. But what we know is that this move is not going to be a problem if we can take this pawn. So now we just develop, bringing out a knight. And the moment we gotta be careful about this idea is when this pawn is gonna be protected. The main move here is to castle, so we can keep going with our development. The bishop. Where do you think the bishop should go out? This square is actually not ideal for the Spanish. And I tell you why. The main plan for white is to go with the move c3 and d4. This is the plan. And your bishop is gonna have to move again. That's why the main move is to go with the bishop out on e7. We are ready to castle, and this position is very solid. Now, what if they play rook e1? Now, this is also the main move, by the way. This pawn is protected. So they are really threatening to take here. If we just castle, look at the bar. Oh, we lost a pawn. Because after this, that, we don't have any more the tactic. If the queen comes here, they go back attacking the queen, and we cannot take because the rook is taking us. So as you can see, if you understand the moves, you know when it's the right moment to get rid of this bishop and to play the move b5. Ooh, we don't have to castle. We have to play the move b5. And once the bishop goes back, now we could castle, we could play the move d6. Usually you play either one or the other. Let's start with the move d6. This is the main line. White usually goes with the move c3, wanting to play the move d4. And now you're ready to fully develop with the move castle. White here is also playing, before playing the move d4, is playing the move h3. What is the idea? To stop the bishop from going out on g4, pinning this knight. And now there is a fun idea I want to show you, how black is fighting for the center. So black is first moving this knight here, looking at the bishop. White doesn't want to give this bishop away. This bishop is the main Spanish bishop. It's very useful for the attack that white wants to try to organize. So white is going back with the bishop here, hiding the bishop from the knight. And now their idea is d4. And so we strike, we stop it, we are ready to face it with the move c5. This is a great way of developing all your pieces against the Spanish. Now the queen usually is going on c7 because the queen is looking at this pawn and this pawn, very solid square. And then this bishop is pretty flexible, sometimes can go here fianchetto, sometimes can go here, the rooks might come on the semi or on the files that are going to be open. That's a good position for black. Third strong opening for white is the move d4, the Scotch. What is white doing? Attacking this pawn 2 times. We gotta do something about it. And the simple thing that we can do here is to take this pawn. Now the knight is taking back. The knight has been moving twice. And the common beginner mistake is to take this knight and trade off these pieces, because the queen comes out now in the center of the board. And usually you shouldn't go out with the queen too early, because the queen is at risk to be attacked by opponent pieces. But now we are lacking the knight that is usually attacking the queen. So actually this position is pretty good for white. White has good space and some annoying threats. For example, this bishop cannot move because this pawn would be hanging. So in this position, you gotta develop, resist the temptation to trade. Either you go out with the knight or you go out with the bishop. And since we are building a repertoire, we want to do something that is coherent with one another. That's why we will go out with the knight here. What are we doing with this move? We are attacking this pawn. White could protect it or do something fancy. So if they protect it, we are in the 4 knights opening, and the only move that you are gonna remember here is this one. We are pinning the knight, wanting to take this pawn. That's enough to know you will move on by castling the king and bringing out this bishop. Critical move here is to try to play the move e5. If they play the move e5, this pawn would be hanging. That's why white is first trading this knight. Now we take towards the center and then playing the move e5. Now this position is very interesting to play. I will show you a simple way to bring out all your pieces. So first of all, we gotta pin this pawn. We play the move queen e7. You might say, Alessia, the queen is blocking the bishop from going out. You said before that this is not optimal. In this case, it is, because we are also forcing white to do the same. Because if not, this is a good way to defend this pawn. Now we go with the knight here, move the knight towards the center, and this bishop is going to go out a different way, with fianchetto, g6, bishop g7. So we'll try to castle long, then to play the move d6. Black has a solid position here. Last but not least, this is one of my favorite openings for white, is the 3 knights opening. The main point here is that you shouldn't play the move bishop c5. Why? Because we get the same tactic that we tried before. Knight takes. And after this, there is the move d4. And we don't want this. White has a very good position here. So in this position, we need to remember 3 knights will become 4. In Italian, we say non c'è 3, no, non c'è 2 senza 3. E il 4 vien da sé, which means that there is no 2 without 3, and 4 will follow immediately after. Whatever. After the 3 knights, you go out with the 4th knight. This is the 4 knights game. And here, white can play 2 moves, either this, and then we are in the same position we saw before. You have to play bishop here, or they will play bishop out here. And now you will play a little bit of copycat in this type of scenario. We'll go also with the bishop out here. And then you will castle, play d6, move this bishop out. You'll be fine. Before moving on with 1d4, we gotta see 3 tricky gambits. And the first one is the king of all gambits, the king's gambit, f4. The idea is that if we take this pawn, white is a pawn down. Now white needs to stop this queen h4 check, so white plays knight out. And the next 2 moves of white are gonna be d4 and bishop takes. If white can do so, white is doing absolutely well. White is clearly better. Now there would be a way to punish this gambit, and I will show you the simplest way. And this, a typical move that we have so many times, is the move d5. This move comes as a rescue in so many openings. So remember that. They're attacking this pawn, and we say like, no problem, we are counterattacking this one. If they take this pawn, what move do you play? You have a very strong move. You will see the bar going because we have the move queen here, check, and winning this pawn. If they dare to push this pawn, we are gonna give a check and win the rook. So this position is really bad for white because they have to go up with the king. So here they will not take this pawn, they will rather take this one. And there you would have two moves. This one is called counter gambit, the Falk Beer counter gambit, but I don't recommend you to play this, it's very complicated. They took a pawn, you take another pawn, and then you're going to develop. The knight is coming out here, you want to try to take back this pawn on d5. The bishops have a free ways to go out, both bishops have a free way, and the moment you take out this pawn, then the knight can also come out here. You will castle the king somewhere, probably on the short side. Black is completely fine here. Second gambit is the Danish Gambit. Here white is going to give away one pawn. If they take back with the queen, here you don't have much to worry. You will bring out this knight, attack the queen has to move again, and then you simply develop all your pieces. But what if they sacrifice another pawn? What is the idea? Let's take this pawn. Here, they're gonna sacrifice another one. They're just gonna develop this bishop. And the idea is that now we are up 2 pawns, but those 2 bishops are very dangerous. I will show you once again one simple way to kill all the ideas of white for an attack. And the move that comes to rescue us is the move d5. We are giving away one pawn with a very smart reason. If they take with the pawn, now this bishop is blocked and we can simply develop our pieces. Knight out, bishop out, castle. We cannot do the same here because after we go out with the knight, this pawn might be pushed, the knight has to move back again. We are in trouble. That's why d5 is very strong. If they take with the bishop, now we play knight here. And the reason is that now the move e5 is not possible because this bishop is a free cheese macaroni. We kind of provoke the bishop to come to a dangerous square to then bring out the knight. Now, if they move this bishop back, we are happy to trade the queens. We have an extra pawn, so any trade is good for us. The best move in this position is bishop takes, check. And it seems like this queen is facing to this queen, and this king has to move. How don't we lose the queen? This move is a big blunder, because the queen is coming here, and this position is just too dangerous for black. This king here is waiting to be checkmated. So the right move is actually to sacrifice the queen. And the reason is that we win it immediately after. With the move bishop, b4 check. Checking the king, and the rook is winking at the queen. If they cover, we win this queen and we have an extra piece. So the only move to keep the position equal is to go back with the queen. Now you can take, knight takes, and this position is material-wise equal, but black can have a very fun time because you can bring the rook into the middle of the board and you can start to advance slowly these pawns on the queen side, supported by your pieces, of course, by the rooks. Black is completely fine. And you might be wondering, this king is in the middle of the board, but in an endgame, and this is leading towards an endgame, the king needs to be an active piece. So your king is not weak at all, it's actually a strong piece. Last gambit that you must know is the Scotch Gambit. Because after pawn takes, knight takes is not the only move. White can also go for max development with the bishop out. Now with black we have pretty much 2 options, knight out and bishop out, and we will play once again knight out. What are we doing? Attacking this pawn. White has now 2 options. e5 is the main move. And now we need our rescue move. Because if we just move the knight around, we might end up having really little space. So we play the move d5. The idea is that if they take this knight, we take this bishop. Black is doing really fine here. Look at these pawns in the center, very strong. The main move here is to bring this bishop here. Pinning the knight. So the knight is no longer defending this pawn. But okay, we have a bigger problem. This knight is under attack, so we move it now towards the center. And in this position, you need to just remember how to bring out all the pieces. This bishop is typically going here, also maybe counterattacking f2. The king is castling short. This bishop is pretty flexible, but sometimes will go on d7, wanting to protect this knight one more time. Black is fine. Last but not least, white can play here the move castle, giving away this pawn. Another variation of the Scotch Gambit. Now you gotta take this pawn, and after rook here, the rescue move one more time. d5, attacking the bishop and protecting the knight. Also in this position, black is fine. One last tactic I want to show you is that in this position, the main move is to sacrifice the bishop. Because after queen takes, white is winning back the piece with a crazy move. Knight here. We cannot take this knight with the pawn because the queen would be hanging. So we cannot move the knight because this knight is pinned. So the best move is to just move the queen away. The knight is taking. And now we bring the bishop out. We want to castle long. Black has a fine position. It's finally time for 1d4. And you will see this is way shorter than 1e4. We gotta pretty much be ready against 3 openings. We always play the move d5. Pawn in the center. Let's start with the first one, the Queen's Gambit. This is the most played opening for white in 1d4. And the idea is that after taking this pawn, white is taking full control over the center, winning back the pawn. We don't want to play this opening with black. So here, you gotta remember to defend this pawn. And the best way is to defend it with a pawn. Now, I will show you how to develop all your pieces, and also a very tricky line for black, but a good tricky line, and I will tell you why. So after knight here, you're going to develop your pieces on the king side in a simple way. Knight out, bishop here, and castle. But I want to give you an extra option. After bishop g5, you have a tricky but good move. Tricky because there is a trap that white can fall for. Good because even if white is not falling for the trap, you have a good position with the black pieces. So it's a good trappy move. So knight here. The idea is that this pawn is attacked twice and is protected once because this knight is pinned. But if they dare to take this pawn, you can play a brilliant move. And this knight takes. Because the queen has to be taken, but now you can win back the queen of your opponent with a beautiful check on b4. The king has no squares to go, so the queen has to put herself in the way. You take the queen, the king is taking, and then you take back the piece. They have 2 pieces, we have 3. Black is completely winning. What if white is not falling for the trap? Still, we have a good position. They bring out the knight. Now we want to defend this pawn. Because try to imagine the same tactic again. After bishop check, the knight is covering. So there will be an important detail. So we defend this pawn with the move c6. That's what we usually do. They play e3, we play bishop here. They play this, we castle. They castle, and here there are many ways to try to defend develop the last piece we need to develop. I will show you a very fun way I've been using a lot, and is to take this pawn once this bishop has been moving already once. Now they have to take back, and we play the move b5. The bishop is going back, and now I want to play bishop b7 and then c5, opening up the big diagonal. Before playing the move c5, you just need to remember to defend this pawn. How do you do it? With the move a6. And black here has a very fun position. White in this position can still play bishop f4, going for the Jobava London or the London system. We will go out with the knight here, and let's see what to do if they play the Jobava London. The idea of the Jobava London is very similar to the fried lever. They want to come with the knight here, attacking this point twice. And here, there is a very simple move that you can play. a6, you stop this idea forever. And this knight is really a little bit misplaced. You know why? Because in d4, d5 structures, usually, both white and black would like to play the move c5 or c4 before bringing out this knight. So a very simple plan that you can use here is to play e6, bishop out, castle, This is very typical. And then you play the move c5, and then you bring the knight out, and you will have an amazing position with the black pieces. If you guys enjoyed this video, you should check out this one, how to crush the London system with the black pieces. I show you a very aggressive plan, and the game I won with super high accuracy and a brilliant move. Check it out, it's super fun, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!